Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about list comprehension. It is a more concise and Pythonic way of creating list. So let's say we have this numbers variable. We have list of numbers. And now let's say I want to square these numbers, each individual element of this list, and save it down in another list. So how can I do it? I have to loop over all of these items. So we'll use for loop for that. So for num in numbers, and then I want to calculate the square of the numbers and save it down to a new list. So let's create an empty list first. Let's call it squares. And then I can say squares dot append, and I can do the square of these numbers. And once we are outside of the for loop, let's go ahead and print squares. So this is what we are getting. This does the job. But it took us 3-4 lines to kind of write this down. First, we had to define an empty list. Then once we have defined the empty list, we have to use the for loop and then append the transformed value to this empty list. Now we can do the same thing and get the same output using list comprehension with lesser number of lines of code. So let's try it out. So what is the syntax of list comprehension? You have your expression. Then you have your for loop. So for item in iterable, whatever you want to iterate over, and if, and then the condition. So this is the syntax of list comprehension. If I have to do this same problem using list comprehension, how would I do it? So I'll create a variable, let's say squares, then these brackets, then the expression. What do we want? This is our expression, right? We want to do a square of the number. Then the for loop for item, you can give it any name, this variable, let's just call it num. In iterable, what you want to iterate over? The numbers variable. And there is no if condition in our problem. Let's go ahead and print squares. And here we have it. Same thing, but with lesser number of lines of code. Now you might be wondering, when I have for loop for it, I don't mind 1 or 2 extra lines of code. Why do I need to learn list comprehension? First reason is, if you're looking at other people code, they would sometimes use list comprehension. You'll not be able to understand what's going on with their code. So that one reason is that. And even when you are writing your code from scratch, sometimes you would want it to be more clean, easily readable. So list comprehension is a way to go if you want your code to be more concise, easy to read. So now let's see list comprehension with if condition. So let's say we want to keep even numbers only. So given a list, we want to output, in the output, we want even numbers only. So we'll take the list numbers. Now let's apply the list comprehension. So for num in numbers, if, then the condition. How do we know if a number is even or odd? If when we divide the number by 2, if the remainder is 0, it means the number is even. So we are saying when this condition is true, return what? The number itself. Let's save it down in some variable, even numbers. And I'll print even numbers. Let's run it. This is not n, but number. And here we have our even number, 2 and 6. So once again, with just one line of code, we have filtered out even numbers from our list. So here, as you can see, we don't need to use append. We don't need to define an empty string. All of that is being taken care by this one line of code. Now, let's say we want to label numbers as even or odd. We want to say this one is odd, this one is even. So here we have to use if else. You can use if else right inside of your list comprehension. Let's see how. Syntax is a bit different. So we'll say the condition. So first we'll have the condition. So if you have if and else together, first you will have to give the condition. So whatever the condition is, we have to put that here. Else, if whatever you want to do, that you would put here. And then you would have your for loop for num in numbers. So here the condition is this condition itself. So we'll say num. If this condition is true, we want to print. So whatever you want to print, that you will give here, or whatever you want to return rather, that you will give here. So we want to return this string even. Else, whatever you want to return, if condition is false, that you would give after else. Let's save it down. And then we'll print this even underscore odd variable. So again, super simple and readable. Now, what if we have list of lists, like a matrix? Let's flatten it using nested list comprehension. So let's say we have this matrix, list of list. Maybe I'll add some items here, 3, 4, and we have 5, 6. Now I want to flatten it. I want to get one single list. This is what I'm looking in the output. So output should be 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one-dimensional list I want flattened out. So how can we use this comprehension here? Let's see. So again, I'll go over each item in this matrix. And let's return n for a minute. So this is what we are getting. Now, here, once we have got our n, which is nothing but this item, we want to loop over this as well. So we can have another for loop here for j in n, because this right here is now saved in the variable n. We are looping over the items of this nested list. And we are saying the j will hold the value 1. The second time around, j will hold the value 2. And here we want to return j. So this is what we are getting in the output. Pretty sleek, right? Okay, let's try a few more examples. So let's say we want to get first letter from a list of words. Want to get first letter from a list of words. How we can do it? So we'll create a variable called words, and maybe I'll just add some fruit names here. Apple, banana, and I want to get the first letter. So how we would do it? So first we'll iterate over each item. So W in words. And then instead of returning the entire word, I just want to return the item at index 0. So here we have it, the first letter of the words. Let's say I want to remove vowels from a sentence. So I have a sentence. Today is such a great day. And I want to remove the vowels. So again, I loop over each item here of this string. So for character in sentence, and I want to return, I want to check if it is a vowel or not. If it's a vowel, I want to return it. So not in A-E-I-O-U. So I'm checking if it is not a vowel because we want to remove the vowel. We don't want to keep the vowels. We want to remove the vowels. If it is not a vowel, then return this. And I think it would be a good idea if we convert this to lowercase. And here you have it. All the characters which are not vowel. Mind you guys, space is also a character. So is exclamation here. Let's say you want to remove the space also and maybe the exclamation and other, just put it like this. Now the spaces have also been removed. One more. This time let's try to extract digits from a string. So let's say I have this text. And I want to extract only digits. So for that, we can basically go ahead and say for character in, just leave some space that we know that we have to put an expression there in text. And then the condition, we need to check if there is a digit. And if it is a digit, we want to return it. How can we check if it is a digit or not? There you have this function is digit. So this will return a true if it's a digit. Otherwise, it will return a false. So if it is a digit, if it's returning a true, we want to return the character. So now this is returning us list of digits. Now this is great. As you can see, it's pretty concise. You don't have to define this empty list. You don't have to use the append here. Everything gets done in one line. But as awesome as this comprehension is, we have to be mindful that we don't overdo it. So when we can overdo it, when your expression, let's say, becomes too long or too hard to read, whatever you have in here, then a regular loop is better. So choose wisely when to use list comprehension, when to avoid it. So that's all for this video, everyone. List comprehensions are powerful, as you have seen. They're more Pythonic way to create or filter list. They do it in a single readable line. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more beginner-friendly Python tutorials. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.